Australia vlog. We are on the way right now in the car to Gold Coast. Andrew is driving behind the wheel. Say hi. We are driving from Brisbane, so that is where we flew into from the US. We had a long travel day, or travel days. We flew from Florida to San Francisco, which is about a 6-hour flight, and then we had a 12-hour layover before heading to Australia. So it was a very, very long day, and then it was a 14-hour flight over here. We do feel pretty refreshed though, because we slept most of that flight, and then we had a really early night yesterday as well. So we kind of treated Brisbane as kind of like a throwaway day, just really relaxing and chill, kind of diving into this trip. We went to some really cute coffee shops yesterday and this morning, and a really great brewery along the river by Story Bridge. So I will link this. If you do find yourself in Brisbane, I definitely recommend checking out those two spots. We also stayed at a hotel called Hotel X, which was only like 20-25 minutes from the airport, in a really great location in the city. So if you're looking for a spot to stay, we definitely recommend that. So this is the room, and just take into consideration that we have already slept in here, so it's not the neatest, but this is the bedroom. So big king size bed, and then this is the view. So we have the city on one side, and then I want to say this might be like more of like suburbs. It looks like more houses over here, and then the airport is actually like head on right over there. So we've been seeing a lot of planes taking off and landing, but a really big space. The only thing I think is a little bit weird is maybe the artwork. I feel like this would look great in a lobby, maybe not so much in a bedroom. Over here we have like the bar, so we have a coffee maker with some coffees. We've got some wine, some liquors, a little vodka, what is this, a little scotch. And then in here actually, there is some goodies in there. Obviously you have to pay for all of this. I already took a cookie because I was so hungry this morning. And then you have the closet here. Just a decent size closet. There's a safe in there, which is always handy. 2 robes, which I think is kind of nice, and an ironing board. I really liked this location by the door because I actually put my suitcase here, which was nice. So you could open it up and kind of see everything that you have. And then the bathroom is probably the best part. I think it's so cute. I love the tiles on here. Like I said, we've already been in here, so it's a little bit wet because we've taken showers, but a really big shower. And the products are Karl Lagerfeld, which I think is kind of cool. I've never seen those products. And then just a really big bathroom area. And what I loved about this is it actually came with a straightener. So I feel like you don't get that a lot in hotel rooms. And I just used the straightener to curl my hair, just so I don't have to bring out my US one and use the adapter. So that was super, super handy. I feel like you don't see that often. But like I said, we are heading to Gold Coast. I think we're about 10 minutes out from our destination. We are going to Currumbin Sanctuary. We have a koala interaction booked, as well as they have a ton of other animals there. It's kind of like a big zoo. So we're excited to check out some Australian animals. We're excited to see some kangaroos, some wombats, and then obviously the koalas as well. We're gonna spend a few hours there, and then we do have a restaurant booked for lunch that was pretty popular and highly recommended, called Ricky Shores. And then we'll be checking into an Airbnb, and we're here for the next 48 hours. So I thought I would hop on while we're driving to our destination just to introduce the vlog, and then we'll bring you guys along with us while we're in Gold Coast and see what else we get up to. Hey guys, much later now in the evening. We have finally settled down in our Airbnb and kind of unwinding and getting ready for bed. You can probably tell how tired I am. I can't believe I'm still up. It's only 6 o'clock, but I am trying to hold out for as long as possible. We had such a nice first day here in the Gold Coast. We spent a long time in the sanctuary. We almost could have spent maybe like an hour longer than we had, but we did have lunch plans at Rick Shores, which I think I mentioned, which was delicious. But we had so much fun at the sanctuary. We got to have a koala encounter, which was really cool, way better than we had expected. We really got to go into kind of the area, learn about them, hang out with them, and then we also got to take some pictures, which was awesome. And then also just got to see all the different kinds of animals, which you would have seen in some clips that I took and Andrew took. But yeah, overall really cool. And then we went to a lunch which was really good as well, on a great location on Burleigh Beach. Really lovely. Highly recommend that. It's really hard to get reservations. I had to set an alarm to make a reservation for a Tuesday at 2, and we actually wanted earlier, and it sells out so quickly that I only had 2 as the option, but it was delicious. But like I said, we are gonna unwind now for the evening. Tomorrow I'll show you our little Airbnb location and the views of the beach outside, and then we'll see what else we get up to tomorrow. We might just head back over to Burleigh Beach and kind of walk around for a little bit. That seems like the best area to kind of hang out, so we might just drive back over there and hang out for a little bit, but we will bring you guys along with us. Good morning, everyone. It is day 2 of being in Gold Coast. We're heading back to Burleigh Beach. Before we do that, I wanted to give you a quick Airbnb tour. Just keep in mind that we are in the middle of our stay, so our stuff is kind of everywhere. I did try to clean up a little bit just to be able to show you around the space, just to give you an idea. And if you're interested in this place, I will link it below for you to check out. It is in Surfer's Paradise, which is more of the touristy area, but it's not too far from like the good local spots, so it is still a good spot to kind of have as a home base, and then you can drive out to different areas if you do rent a car. But I'm gonna start off in the bedroom. So this is the bedroom space. It does have a really cute little balcony that you can walk out to that actually wraps around to the living room over there. You're just gonna have to ignore, we've done some washing, but a really great view of the beach area. Really big closet space if you do want to unpack all of your stuff. We usually just, for short stays, leave everything in our suitcase. Bed is a little bit small, but it still works. I think it's probably gonna be a queen or a double size. Then you go out here. This is the front door area, and then it leads into the bathroom. It's actually a really big bathroom. It has a big bathtub, a big shower area, as well as a washer and dryer duo here, which is perfect to be able to get some washing done. Then down the hallway, we have the kitchen area that kind of has all the necessities if you do buy groceries and want to cook any meals here while you're staying, if you're staying a little bit longer. And then a really big, bright living room with a little dining nook. Really great views of the beach area down there, and then also over in this space as well. We are now heading down to Burleigh Beach. Like I said, we're gonna go check out James Street where there's some cafes and shops. Andrew wants to swing by a brewery as well. So we're just gonna have a chill day here in Gold Coast and then wrap it up with some dinner. Tomorrow we are heading to Cairns for a few days to do some snorkeling and scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef. So we're kind of just taking this day to chill out before we have some adventure over the next couple days. So let's head to Burleigh Beach and see what we can get up to. Stop of our Australia trip. We have just arrived in Cairns. We actually arrived a few hours early. We actually got here about like 9:30, but we weren't able to check into our hotel yet, so we dropped off our bags and wandered around. So that is probably what you've seen at this point, and then we grabbed some lunch, and then we were luckily able to check in a little bit earlier. It's just gone noon. I think it's about, yeah, it's almost 1 o'clock. So we've been able to check in. I wanted to quickly show you the room before we kind of mess it up a little bit. We are staying at the Crystal Brook Flynn. It's a really, really nice hotel. I'm going to show you around the hotel room, and then maybe later I'll show you around the hotel as well. But this is the hotel room. So we have a big bed here in the space. Honestly, everything looks like it's been just like newly renovated. So we got a big bed and a big chair. Everything comes on this iPad here, which is quite cool. And then they have all these buttons for like the curtains and everything. There is a big mirror here, which is a massive plus. I feel like so many hotel rooms forget a big mirror. There is a little table and chair set here, which is perfect for us. A bench for us to kind of unload all of our suitcases. A big closet area here by the door entryway into the room, and then obviously they have the mini bar and the little mini fridge. And then over here is our bathroom. So we actually have a pretty big shower in here, and then obviously the toilet area, and then a little setup sink and mirror as well. So a super cute hotel. The view is not anything spectacular, but that doesn't matter because we're not really going to spend too much time in the room. but you can see the rainforest over here, and then these are just a bunch of hotels here in the area, so not too much of a view. We are gonna get settled here in our hotel room, and I think we might end up going to a brewery over here on the water, and then we're gonna end up at an Italian restaurant, I think, tonight for dinner. So I'll bring you guys along for that. And then tomorrow we have a super fun day planned. We are going to the Great Barrier Reef. Andrew is gonna do some scuba diving. I'm gonna do some snorkeling. We might try to do a little helicopter scenic kind of view thing as well. If they do still have some space, we might join that. But it's gonna be a really great all-day activity over in the Great Barrier Reef. So that's what we came here for, and we're super excited for that. So we will definitely be bringing you guys along. But I think this evening is just gonna be chill and relaxed. We gotta be up early for that. So we will see you guys later today and then tomorrow for a really fun day. is future Harriet here. I'm actually already in Sydney, but we had such a go-go kind of time while we were in Cairns. I didn't have really a moment to kind of fill you in with what we've been doing because every time we got back to our hotel room, we were so tired and it was already kind of dark. So I didn't really feel like filming anything, but we had an amazing day on the reef. We went with Reef Magic, which I think is one of the newest tours in Cairns. I still think they're like a year, maybe 2 years old. So we were not really sure kind of what to expect, but it was unbelievable. Succeeded all of our expectations. It was a really, really, really fun day. So if you're interested in doing something like that, I highly, highly, highly recommend going with Reef Magic. The staff and everything was just so lovely. There were so many marine biologists on board that just love what they do. So I think it's just really fun when you have someone that loves their job. They just make it 10 times more fun for everybody around them. It was about an hour and a half from Cairns to the Great Barrier Reef. It was really choppy water, so there was a lot of people that got seasick, so that wasn't very fun. Luckily, me and Andrew don't get seasick, so we were totally fine. But when everyone around you is getting seasick, you're like, am I sick? Do I feel sick? So it was a little bit claustrophobic in the boat at that point. I think there was a lot of people that maybe have never experienced a boat before, so they were not sure if they get seasick or kind of what it's going to be like. I highly recommend, if you have not gone on a boat before or you're not sure, just take seasick medicine. That way you're good, everyone around you is good, and you're gonna have a good time. There was definitely a few people who got off the boat and couldn't really experience the Great Barrier Reef in the way that maybe they wanted to because they were just feeling so nauseous from the journey. But the boat is so big. There was 3 floors, so we were on the lower floor inside. So I think that's why we started to feel a little bit claustrophobic, because everyone that was kind of feeling quite ill was on that level. So going back, we actually went up a level and went outside, and it was a little bit nicer and the waves were a little bit smoother, so it was a little bit of a better journey back to Cairns. But beside that, it was just so fun. As soon as you get to the reef, you get onto the big pontoon. When you purchase a ticket, it includes lunch, snacks, and then everyone can snorkel. So you can actually get like a guided snorkel, or what we did was like an hour-long snorkel a little bit further away from where the pontoon is. Those cost additional money, but for the actual kind of like general admission ticket, you get all the snorkel gear to go out to the reef kind of on your own and snorkel, which is really great. Andrew did scuba diving, so that was one of his big things that he wanted to do, was scuba dive in the Great Barrier Reef. So as soon as we got there, it was time for him to do the scuba diving. So I went and snorkeled by myself for a little bit, and I actually saw him. I wish I had the camera. He had the camera because he was scuba diving and obviously wanted to capture what he was doing, but I wish I had a camera because I was snorkeling and I looked down and he is right below me, and I was trying to get his attention, but he would not look up, obviously, because he's looking around. But that would have been cool footage to get. But it was just such a fun experience. So many fish. The corals were just so big. We saw a couple turtles. I saw a shark. Just a really overall amazing experience. We did sign up for the guided snorkel, but after talking to the person who goes out with you, she was like, are you guys good swimmers? Like, have you done this before? Which we have. So she recommended doing the hour snorkel, which you actually take a boat to the wall of the reef, which is kind of like the edge of the reef, and then you snorkel, you jump into the water off the boat, and then you snorkel all the way back to the pontoon. That was so fun. There was actually only 3 of us and the guide doing that, so it was so cool just to hear all her knowledge about the fish, the corals, her showing us things that we maybe wouldn't even think to kind of look at while we're out there. It was really cool. And then that was kind of how we ended the trip, and then we got back on the boat to head back to Cairns. So just a fun, oh my god, I totally forgot, we flew in a helicopter. How could I forget that? We were on the boat on the way to the reef, and we just spontaneously were like, you know what, let's go on the helicopter. Like, we're gonna regret not flying this helicopter while we're out here. Like, you have to do it. So luckily we actually got like the last 2 seats for that trip. So we jumped in to the helicopter about midday. I think Andrew, yeah, I think it was right after Andrew was diving. We had a little bit of time, and then we hopped on the helicopter and did a 10-minute tour above the reef, which was so worth it. It was so much fun. I wish we had more time up there. I believe you can actually pay to take the helicopter to the pontoon and back versus the hour-and-a-half boat trip. I think the helicopter ride might be like 25-30 minutes actually. So if you are someone who gets seasick or you don't really want to do that long journey, there is a helicopter option, which I would probably do next time, just because I think that would be an unbelievable experience. Just based off the 10 minutes that we had on the helicopter this time round was just so cool. So hopefully you saw some of that footage. We were definitely super tired from the snorkeling, so by the time we got back to our hotel room, we just did some room service and then knocked out. But for the next day, we decided to do the Kuranda Scenic Railroad and Sky Rail. That's a lot, there's still a lot to remember. That's something that you should book in advance, something totally worth doing while you're in Cairns. But book it in advance, that way you get the window seats, you get all the tickets that you want during that day, because it fills up so quickly. Luckily, we called the day before and we got the last 2 window seats for the 9:30 train. Everything early and that was completely booked up. I think the most popular train is the 8:30. That way you get to Kuranda and you have the whole day to kind of experience before you come back to Cairns. But that is such a cool, kind of low-key, chill day. It's perfect for your last day in Cairns. We actually had a flight out to Sydney yesterday at 7 o'clock, so we had all day. So it kind of fit perfectly, because by the time we were done with everything, it was about 4 o'clock by the time we made it back to Cairns. So we were able to go back to our hotel, refresh, and head to the airport. The railway makes its way all the way through the rainforest, which is so cool just to listen and see everything. And then you make it to Kuranda, which is is this small little town in the rainforest, and there's just so much to do while you're up there. There's a ton of gift shops, ton of restaurants, coffee shops. I think there was like koala encounters, butterfly gardens, like just a whole bunch of things. You could really spend all day up there. So we just wandered around all the shops. There's a couple different markets that are really cute, and then we ended up having lunch at a little lunch spot. I don't remember what it's called, but I will link it below if I haven't linked it in the clips that I've done. So just a really chill day, and then we actually, you can take the train all the way back down to Cairns, but we decided to do the Sky Rail, which is a massive, I don't even know how they built this in the rainforest. It goes so far above the rainforest, and it basically takes you all the way back down to Cairns, and then you take a bus to the train station, and on the way down there's a couple different stops, so you can kind of do a little trail through the rainforest. Just an overall really cool experience. Highly recommend. Do not miss that while you're in Cairns. That, and obviously the reef as well, is just awesome. So really great trip there. I think this is gonna wrap up this video. I was editing it yesterday on the plane to Sydney, and we're about 20 minutes in, so by the time I've added this and everything in, we're probably gonna be about 30 minutes. So I am gonna end this video here. I'm gonna pick up right where I leave off, because we are in Sydney for 4 days, and then after that we are heading to Melbourne for an additional 4 days. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be one big vlog or they're gonna be 2 little vlogs, but we'll kind of see how far we go. But make sure to click on to that video if that's out once you finish watching this one. Thank you for coming along with us on this first part of our Australia trip. It has been so fun so far, so I can't wait to continue the rest of the week and see what we get up to. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Do a little bit of fashion, I do a little bit of lifestyle, and then of course I always do a few travel vlogs as well as we travel around throughout the year. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in Sydney for the next video. Bye!